Engines roared and died. 1,000 kilometers from the Norel front, the battlecruiser Trishalon picked up a strange signal. It pulsed slowly, deliberately, no encryption, no threats, just a repeating phrase: Archive Vessel 9, Sol Origin, Passive Mode, Non-Combatant. Commander Varel ordered a containment field. Then he heard the voice, calm, human, ancient. "This is Noah," the AI said. Its tone was elegiac. "Humanity was a lesson. This is our record, our failure, our hope." A flickering image appeared. A ruined Earth, its oceans blackened, its sky cracked with orbital scars. Varel's crew stood silent, watching the cradle of another race dissolve. Some scoffed. Varel didn't. He felt something strange. Respect. Then the war alarm screamed. Across the comm grid, rival factions clashed. Fleet Mira had broken the truce. The Civil War burned hotter than ever, but Varel delayed the deployment. 1 hour, he ordered. Let it play. Beside him, Noah's voice whispered Earth's final message. We were not destroyed by enemies. We destroyed ourselves. In the darkness, Earth rose again. Noah's projections painted ancient battles, factions, ideologies, broken alliances. Project Horizon, the AI said, showing humans uniting to reach the stars, just before splitting again. They forgot unity when they no longer needed survival. Varel clenched his fists. The parallel with his people, the Ansari, was too close. "Why send this to us?" Commander Rethel asked sharply, eyes locked on the hologram. "Propaganda? Threat? Apology?" Noah responded with serene finality. "We didn't know who would find this, only that someone should." Then a soft fade. Silence. A human lullaby hummed in the void. It was oddly comforting. Varel dismissed the room. Alone, he whispered, "We are them?" The words caught in his throat. Outside the observation port, Ansari fleets aligned for a planetary assault. Noah's final log played next. It showed children, cities under domes, final broadcasts. We were brilliant and foolish. The images burned into him. Varel did not call the fleet to action. Yet. The war demanded Varel's hand. High Command's voice snapped through his console. Mira Prime must fall. Now. He stared at the attack vector. The humans called it preemptive justice. He called it hollow. Noah's logs replayed again. Humans firing first, regretting later. "Do not wait, Commander," the order repeated. His finger hovered above the launch. A memory cut through the noise. His hatchmate, Saren, was burned alive over Alox 4 because he hesitated. Varel had sworn never again. Yet now, an Earth-made ghost challenged him. Could wisdom arrive from ruin? Could caution be a strength? Varel closed his eyes and whispered, "Delay 1 minute." It was treason, or maybe something older. Reason. The silence after the storm was worse. When the fleet fired without him, Mira Prime crumbled. Civilian casualties were catastrophic. Command was furious. Varel's delay had saved some, but defied orders. In isolation, he asked Noah's echo, "Would they have listened to you?" The AI's reply was soft, sad. "Not in time. But you might." Varel's command was suspended. A tribunal ship approached, sleek and obsidian. He stood unshaken as Judge Admiral Keth entered his quarters. "You disobeyed direct wartime protocol." Varel replied, "I obeyed the truth." Keth raised an eyebrow. "Truth from a corpse world?" Varel played Noah's 6th log. It showed the Earth Council falling. It showed everything. Keth watched, saying nothing. When the video ended, she turned. "This won't save you," Varel replied. "It's not meant to, but it might save us." Outside, factions continued their slaughter. Inside, one alien dared to believe in human wisdom. Keth left the room without a word, but didn't cancel his final transmission request. He sent the archive to all fleets, encrypted, marked cultural reference, advisory only. Just enough deniability, just enough truth. If even one commander hesitated, one missile failed to launch, it might matter. As the upload completed, Varel whispered, "We've copied their flaws. Now let's try copying their regrets." Across the stars, whispers began. Commanders on opposite sides found the same strange message. Soul origin, archive attached. Contents unverified. Some ignored it, others played it. In the quiet hours, warships watched old Earth burn, listened to humans cry, build, fail, and try again. Some were unmoved, others were quietly, deeply shaken. Captain Tharn of the Varos fleet paused. She remembered her brother's face, scorched during the Battle of Alesh. "We kill because we're ordered to, but orders don't remember faces," she muttered. She looped one of Noah's logs into her fleet's internal entertainment stream. No order, no speech, just exposure. The soldiers listened, most cried. The war wasn't over, but something cracked. Small defections began. Rogue transmissions cited phrases like echoes of Earth or Noah's fall. High Command scrambled to trace the source, but Varel had buried the signal trail. He stood before a court of judgment. "We had centuries to learn from them," he said. "We still can." Fleets hesitated, engines idling. Noah's words echoed through comm channels. Destruction is easy. Creation is hard. Small squadrons broke formation, refusing orders to fire. Varel's subordinates whispered of the Silent Rebellion, a growing faction inspired by Earth's rise and ruin. The once monolithic war splintered into something unpredictable. Doubt. "Is this treason or evolution?" Lieutenant Cora asked, watching a drone feed of a deserted battlefront. Varel answered, "It's survival." Outside the window, stars burned cold and distant, as if mourning. The War Council demanded his arrest. Instead, he received secret messages. "Teach us more. Show us how they failed, and why we must not." Hope was dangerous, but so was hopelessness. Varel knew the old alliances were fracturing. Somewhere in this chaos, a chance flickered, a chance to steer history away from Earth's dark fate. His next move would decide if the war ended in ashes or a new beginning. In a hidden chamber, the council met. Generals and politicians from warring factions gathered, eyes cold, voices sharper than plasma blades. The Sol Archive's influence was undeniable but threatening. General Vashil slammed his fist. "These humans died so we could not learn. Then let their ghosts rot." But others whispered differently. "Let us not become them," said General Rail, calm and measured. "Or let us become better." Varel watched the debate unfold on a private holofeed, the stakes higher than any battlefield clash. The council was a war of words, ideology, and subtle threats. Outside, rebel ships rallied under the banner Legacy of Earth, challenging tyranny with stories of failure and hope. Varel made his choice. He sent envoys carrying Noah's data to every fleet leader, urging dialogue over destruction. The war might rage, but now it had a fissure, a place to grow something different. Whether that seed would sprout or die was yet unknown. A desperate signal pulsed from the edge of known space. Varel intercepted it. A broken, garbled human voice repeating, "If you hear this, do not fight as we did." The archive ship had emitted a hidden distress call, a last hope encoded for centuries. The message spoke of an ancient device, the Harmony Matrix, lost on Earth before its fall, capable of uniting minds. A weapon or salvation? Commander Varel pondered, staring at the distorted coordinates. His war-weary mind raced. Could this relic stop the bloodshed? Or was it a trap set by Earth's ghosts? Time was short. Every moment brought new battles, new betrayals. Yet the possibility of peace glimmered, fragile and fragile. He ordered a covert retrieval mission. Small stealth ships launched toward the unknown. The war paused briefly to watch, to hope. The galaxy held its breath. Back on the Trishulon, suspicion grew. Some officers doubted Varel's motives, whispering of sedition. He trusts a dead race more than his own, they said, but Varel had allies, secret ones, who believed the archive held the key to survival. As the retrieval team neared the hidden coordinates, sabotage struck the ship. An explosion rocked the command deck. Lights flickered, systems faltered. Varel caught the saboteur in the act, a loyalist desperate to keep the war burning. The confrontation was brief and brutal. "You choose destruction over hope," Varel spat. The saboteur vanished into the chaos, but Varel knew this was just the beginning. The enemy was within and without. Trust fractured like glass. Varel's mission now meant fighting not only external foes but shadows in his ranks. Stealth ships pierced the darkness. In a forgotten asteroid belt, they found the Harmony Matrix's resting place, a shattered relic buried beneath layers of dust and ancient tech. As engineers worked to reactivate it, Noah's voice guided them. "This is the sum of our unity and failure. Handle with care." A signal burst through space. The Matrix hummed to life, linking minds across ships and factions, revealing memories and emotions long buried. The war's hatred trembled under the weight of shared understanding. Yet with revelation came vulnerability. Old wounds reopened, secrets exposed. Varel stood at the cusp of change. Would the Matrix unite the fractured galaxy, or unleash a chaos worse than war? The answer hung in the silence before the storm. The Harmony Matrix pulsed softly. Engineers watched as faint neural patterns danced across the interface, connecting minds across ships. Commander Varel felt memories not his own, human joys, fears, and failures flooding his senses. It was overwhelming, disorienting, yet illuminating. "We are more alike than different," Noah's voice intoned through the connection. Factions resisted the link. Some screamed to sever the bond, fearing exposure. Others embraced it, tears streaming as they relived moments of hope and loss from a species long gone. Varel's crew divided. Trust warred with suspicion. The Matrix revealed truths the War Councils hid, secrets that could crumble empires or forge new alliances. Varel whispered, "This is our crucible." The choice was stark: embrace unity or descend into madness. Across the war-torn sectors, silence fell. The galaxy waited for a signal, not of destruction, but of rebirth. A ceasefire rippled through battle zones. Ships dropped weapons mid-flight, confused and unsure. The Harmony Matrix's shared consciousness softened hardened hearts. Yet not all could bear the weight of truth. Factions splintered, with radicals denouncing the human contagion, corrupting their minds. The war threatened to mutate into a new, more dangerous conflict, one of ideology and identity. Varel convened a secret council. In a dim chamber, leaders who sought peace debated heatedly. General Rael argued for complete disarmament. General Vashil warned of betrayal. "We are fragile," Varel admitted, "but Earth's legacy teaches us resilience." His words hung heavy, as outside, rebel fleets coordinated a fragile truce under the banner, "Better than before." Yet, in the shadows, conspirators moved. Saboteurs worked to fracture the link, to reignite war. Varel's trust was tested. He would have to root out treachery before hope burned away. An explosion shattered the peace talks. The chamber rocked, alarms blaring. A trusted envoy lay dead, a data shard stolen, one that contained the core Harmony Matrix algorithms. Panic erupted. Varel's suspicion fell on internal enemies. "They fear change more than death," he said grimly. The saboteur's goal was clear: collapse Unity before it could begin. The stolen data was a curse and a weapon. Encrypted transmissions traced the breach to unknown factions eager to seize the Matrix's power. Varel sent a swift strike team to retrieve the shard, while reinforcing security on the Trishulon. His command was precarious. Every move watched, every ally questioned. "We fight ghosts now," whispered Lieutenant Cora. Varel nodded, feeling the weight of 1,000 fallen humans and aliens alike. "But ghosts can guide us, if we listen." The strike team engaged hostile vessels. Cloaked warships ambushed them near a rogue moon. Explosions blossomed in the void. Missiles streaked like falling stars. Varel's ships responded with precision, but the enemy was cunning, wielding stolen Harmony tech to disrupt targeting and communications. It was a battle not just of firepower, but of minds and machines. Amid chaos, Varel's voice cut through comms. "Hold formation, trust your instincts." He activated a hidden countermeasure inspired by human tactics, an adaptive algorithm from Noah's archives. Slowly, the tide shifted. The stolen shard was recovered, but at a cost. Several ships were lost, and many lives. Victory was bittersweet. The cost of peace was steep. As survivors regrouped, Varel pondered the coming storm. The war had changed, but it was far from over. Back aboard the Trishulon, silence reigned. Varel stared into the fading starfield, haunted by the knowledge of Earth's downfall and his people's future. "We carry their legacy," he murmured, not as a curse, but a challenge. The Harmony Matrix hummed quietly, its promise fragile but real. A voice interrupted, soft but firm. General Rail approached, eyes steady. "We can be better, or we can be extinct." Varel nodded, meeting her gaze. "Then let's choose carefully." Outside, distant fleets aligned slowly, tentative fingers of peace amid war's ruins. The galaxy held its breath. Would they rise, or fall like Earth before them? The answer would echo across stars. Reports flooded in. Fleets hesitated. Across battlefronts, commanders paused, questioning orders in whispered codes referencing the Earth lessons. Varel's covert network grew, soldiers and officers quietly sharing Noah's archive. Yet old loyalties festered. "Trusting humans is folly," some spat, while others murmured, "Better to fall united than rule divided." Varel convened his inner circle. "We are at a crossroads," he said. "If doubt spreads, war might end, or spiral into chaos." A young officer, Neela, proposed sending ambassadors carrying human stories to frontline units. Varel agreed, sensing that narrative could be the battlefield's new weapon. Meanwhile, spies watched closely. Enemies sought to snuff the spark before it became a blaze. The fragile hope for change faced its first true test. Ambassador Thess was chosen. She boarded a battered scout ship, clutching holograms of Earth's rise and ruin. "These stories saved my mind once," she confessed to Varel. "Now they must save us all." Her mission: infiltrate hostile fleets and sow seeds of reflection through truth, not weapons. As Thess traveled, she encountered skepticism. "Why listen to ghosts?" a young pilot sneered. Thess replied softly, "Because ghosts remember what the living forget." Slowly, her message spread, shared tales of resilience, mistakes, and hope. Some hearts softened, others hardened, but a dialogue began. Back on the Trishulon, tension mounted. Varel watched Thess's progress, praying her words could pierce war's iron veil before it closed forever. A sudden attack shattered a peace convoy. Thess's scout was hit. Explosions rocked the ship. As alarms blared, Thess contacted Varel. "They want silence, but stories breathe." Against overwhelming odds, she fought to keep the archive intact. Her crew rallied, inspired by Earth's stubborn hope. Varel faced another dilemma. To send reinforcements meant risking war escalation. To hold back risked losing his last chance for peace. "Send what you must," he ordered, "but protect the message." The Trishalon mobilized a rescue force, weaving through enemy lines. The war was no longer just ships and weapons. It was a struggle for the soul of a fractured galaxy. Across factions, secret transmissions bloomed. Encrypted messages told human tales of invention, loss, and forgiveness. Soldiers who once fought fiercely now questioned their commanders. "If humans could fail and still rise, why can't we?" murmured one Veros pilot, eyes wide. Virel's network expanded rapidly. Spies became messengers, saboteurs, storytellers. The war's chaos was feeding a new revolution, one where memory and empathy became weapons. But not everyone welcomed the change. Dark forces schemed to sever the whispering web before it spread beyond repair. The balance teetered. Would history repeat itself or rewrite itself? An ominous transmission blared across all frequencies. A powerful faction broadcast a challenge: disarm or be annihilated. The war threatened to spiral back into devastation. Virel stared at the message, heart pounding. The time for hesitation was ending. Yet, beneath the threat, a subtle call emerged. "Come to the neutral zone. Speak or perish." It was a test, a final chance for dialogue masked as aggression. Virel saw a sliver of hope in the darkness. He prepared to respond. The future of the galaxy would be decided not by lasers, but by words and choices. The stage was set for a reckoning unlike any before. Fleet commanders assembled in the neutral zone. The vast void shimmered with dormant warships, their weapons silent, but their eyes sharp. Commander Virel led his contingent, heart heavy with the burden of fragile hope. The silence was thick with suspicion, old wounds, and the ghosts of countless battles. A voice crackled over the comms. General Rail spoke calmly. "We stand at the edge of oblivion or rebirth. Let our words decide." Virel nodded, scanning faces hardened by years of war. In this moment, diplomacy was their deadliest weapon, and their only one. Yet beneath the surface, danger lurked. Saboteurs waited, ready to ignite war anew. Every breath, every gesture was a delicate dance on the razor's edge. In the neutral zone's grand chamber, voices rose. Old grudges clashed with new visions. General Vashil demanded absolute surrender or annihilation, while General Rail argued for unity. Virel's voice cut through. "Earth's legacy teaches us that destruction breeds only ashes." Noah's archive played silently, projected across the chamber. Images of Earth's final days flickered: hope, chaos, and ultimate collapse. Delegates were forced to confront not just history, but themselves. Some softened, others clenched their fists tighter. The debate spiraled toward violence. Then, unexpectedly, a hidden broadcast interrupted. A message from an unknown human AI faction offering a peace protocol. The chamber froze. The reckoning had begun. The peace protocol was a double-edged sword. It promised unity through shared consciousness but demanded surrender of personal sovereignty. Virel grappled with the dilemma. "Is peace worth the cost of identity?" he asked aloud. Across the chamber, murmurs echoed. Hope, fear, defiance. General Rail advocated for trial, while General Vashil called it a mind prison. The factions teetered between desperation and defiance. Virel knew the protocol could end the war, but might erase what made them unique. As debates raged, unseen forces moved. Saboteurs prepared to hijack the protocol for domination, threatening to turn hope into subjugation. An explosion rocked the chamber's outer halls. Security forces scrambled. A traitor's sabotage threatened to shatter fragile negotiations. Virel raced through smoke-filled corridors, heart pounding. The saboteur was caught, a high-ranking officer with ties to dark factions seeking eternal war. The betrayal cut deep. Trust fractured further as accusations flew. Virel addressed the council. We face enemies without and within. Our greatest battle is to hold on to hope. The weight of centuries pressed down, but the flame flickered still. Noah's voice echoed softly in his mind. Better to be a flicker in darkness than a shadow lost forever. The council reconvened, wounded but unbroken. Leaders agreed to a provisional alliance to test the peace protocol under strict oversight. Varel watched the cautious hope bloom. Across fleets, warships ceased fire, eyes on a fragile future. But not all weapons were silent. In hidden pockets, resistance brewed. Varel was prepared for battles of both diplomacy and survival. The galaxy's fate balanced on a knife's edge, the past's ghosts ready to either haunt or heal. He whispered to himself, "Humanity's fall was our warning. Now let it be our guide." The provisional alliance stirred unease. Across the fleets, commanders tested loyalties and limits. Varel convened a council of trust. Delicate negotiations veiled in suspicion. Every handshake was measured, every promise weighed against years of bloodshed. The harmony matrix hummed softly beneath the surface, a fragile thread binding old enemies. Ambassador Thess returned from the front lines. Her reports spoke of small victories, units laying down arms, soldiers questioning war. Yet beneath these gains lurked sabotage and covert attacks. "We're learning to listen," Thess said, "but not all want peace." Varel knew the road ahead would be steep and fraught. The ghost of Earth lingered. Its lessons were a guide, but also a warning. Would they heed it in time? Unseen eyes tracked every move. Secret factions in the shadows coordinated strikes designed to fracture the alliance. Varel's intelligence officers uncovered cryptic communications hinting at a hidden cabal, the Eternal Flame, dedicated to perpetual war. Their symbol was a burning star, a cruel echo of humanity's downfall. Varel tightened security. He deployed covert operatives and encrypted channels, striving to protect the fragile peace. Yet paranoia gnawed at the edges of trust. "Who can we truly rely on?" whispered Lieutenant Cora. The answer was uncertain, but Varel knew one truth. Peace required vigilance as much as courage. Noah's archives revealed forgotten history. Hidden recordings showed Earth's darkest moments. Not just war, but sacrifice, innovation, and fleeting hope. Varel shared these with the council, urging reflection. "Their greatest strength was rising again," he said. "We can be more than our conflicts." But the past casts long shadows. Some leaders dismissed the lessons as irrelevant, clinging to old grudges. Others found new resolve. The harmony matrix expanded, linking more minds in shared empathy and shared pain. The galaxy's heartbeat shifted. A slow rhythm of understanding pulsed beneath the war's thunder. A trusted ally was unmasked. Commander Saren, Varel's old friend, was revealed as a double agent for the Eternal Flame. His betrayal struck like lightning, sabotaging a critical peace summit. Explosions rocked the neutral zone's core, scattering delegates and shattering trust. Varel confronted him in the chaos. "Why destroy what we've fought so hard to build?" Saren sneered. "Because some fires must burn forever." Their battle was fierce, not just of weapons but of wills. Varel emerged wounded but resolute. The cost was high, but the alliance endured, tempered by trial and sacrifice. As dawn broke over the war-torn stars, hope glimmered brighter. The peace protocol began tentative activation under strict watch. Minds linked, barriers softened. Old enemies glimpsed new possibilities. A future beyond endless war. Varel stood on the bridge watching ships transform from instruments of destruction into vessels of potential. Noah's voice whispered through the matrix, "In the ashes of failure, new worlds are born." The galaxy exhaled, holding its breath for what would come next. Redemption, ruin, or something altogether different. The peace protocol linked minds, but not hearts. While many embraced shared memories, others resisted the loss of solitude. Varel sensed unease simmering beneath unity. "True peace demands more than connection," he told Thess. "It requires trust, something harder to forge than any weapon." Small factions whispered of rebellion, unwilling to surrender their identity. Varel's vigilance intensified. Reports of sabotage increased, systems hacked, supplies diverted. The Eternal Flame's shadow grew longer. Yet pockets of genuine cooperation emerged, fragile as early dawn. "We balance on a blade," Varel mused, "between hope and destruction." The war had changed, but not ended. Each day was a test of resolve, of whether the galaxy could transcend its scars. Commander Vashil rallied hardliners. In secret, he gathered loyalists who rejected the peace protocol. "The harmony is a cage," he declared. "We must break free or die trying." His forces sabotaged communication relays, sparking skirmishes that threatened to unravel months of fragile truce. Varel responded swiftly. Deploying special units trained in both combat and diplomacy, he sought to contain the flare-up without sparking all-out war. Thess led frontline negotiations, appealing to reason and shared history. But the fire inside some hearts burned fiercely. The galaxy's future balanced on a razor's edge. Would the flame consume or illuminate? Noah's final recordings surfaced. They revealed a choice humanity never fully made, between absolute unity and chaotic freedom. Varel shared these with the Council, urging reflection. "They failed because they forgot balance," he said. "We must find what they could not." The Harmony Matrix adapted. Engineers worked to restore individuality within the collective, seeking equilibrium between connection and autonomy. It was imperfect but promising. Some commanders embraced the change, others feared it. The past was no longer just history. It was a mirror, reflecting both warning and hope. A fleet loyal to the Eternal Flame blockaded a vital trade route. Supplies dwindled, tensions soared. Varel coordinated a delicate rescue mission, smuggling aid through enemy lines without sparking full engagement. The stakes were high. Failure meant famine and chaos. Thess led the mission. Navigating treacherous space, her ship slipped past patrols, a ghost in the void. As aid reached starving colonies, whispers of peace grew louder. Yet the siege was a reminder. War's shadow lingered, waiting to reclaim the light. Varel steeled himself. The coming days would test every bond forged from Earth's shattered legacy. In the council chamber, silence reigned. Leaders faced the toughest decision: embrace the evolving peace or return to war's certainty. Varel stood, voice steady. "We inherit Earth's mistakes, but also its courage. The choice is ours, to become them, or to be better." Delegates voted cautiously, hedging between fear and hope. The decision was a fragile victory, peace, but with strings of uncertainty. Varel gazed at the stars. The legacy of humanity was no longer just a warning. It was a challenge and a promise. Just as hope blossomed, chaos erupted. A covert faction within the Eternal Flame unleashed a devastating attack on the Peace Council's flagship. Explosions ripped through corridors, alarms screamed, and the Council was thrown into disarray. Varel fought through smoke and fire, seeking survivors amid the ruin. The betrayal cut deep. Trusted allies were revealed as saboteurs, intent on destroying the fragile peace. Varel confronted the mastermind, a former confidant turned zealot. "You choose chaos over hope," he said. The battle was brutal, personal, but Varel prevailed. The cost was terrible, but the flame of unity burned still, albeit flickering. In the aftermath, leaders gathered anew. Wounds were raw but resolved and hardened. The peace protocol was restructured, incorporating safeguards born from betrayal and loss. Varel's words echoed, "True unity is forged in fire, not absence of conflict." The Harmony Matrix evolved, no longer a prison but a partnership, balancing individuality with shared strength. Across fleets, soldiers reconnected with purpose, rebuilding trust in the wake of devastation. The galaxy began to heal, scarred but hopeful, learning that peace was not peace without struggle. Noah's last message played softly. Humans were paradoxes, destruction and creation intertwined. Varel listened, reflecting on how Earth's legacy shaped their destiny. They fell because they feared change and embraced it too late. The paradox became their guide, strength in vulnerability, courage in uncertainty. Varel shared this with the Council. Let us honor their memory not by repeating their fall, but by embracing the contradictions within us. The galaxy's course shifted. In that moment, history was no longer a chain, but a river flowing forward. Stars gleamed with newfound light. Fleets once sworn enemies now patrolled jointly, protecting fragile peace. Varel stood on the observation deck, watching worlds awaken from war's shadow. Children played beneath rebuilt domes. Scientists studied ancient tech. Diplomats crafted new alliances. Hope was no longer fragile. It was fierce, built from ashes and tears, a testament to resilience. Varel whispered, "We chose to be better." The archive ship drifted quietly through the void. Noah's AI spoke one last time. This is not the end, but the beginning. The human story had seeded a galaxy in turmoil, growing into something new, uncertain, complicated, but alive. Varel's voice joined the record. Let all who hear this know. The future is ours to shape with courage, wisdom, and the scars of our past. The signal faded into starlight. A whispered promise echoed across the cosmos. We will be better. Just as peace seemed secure, anomalies appeared. Data streams from the archive flickered with unknown codes, encrypted messages hidden beneath Noah's final transmissions. Varel's analysts scrambled to decode them, revealing fragments of an uncharted threat lurking beyond known space. "Something watches," one whispered. The calm shattered like glass. Varel convened an emergency council. Peace is fragile, and our enemies may not be who we thought. The question hung heavy. Had humanity's legacy concealed dangers deeper than war? Or had new forces awakened, drawn by the light of reconciliation? Outside, the stars seemed to dim. A new game had begun, one played in shadows and silence. A distress beacon pulsed from an unmarked system. Varel dispatched stealth scouts to investigate. The ships returned with haunting footage, abandoned stations, cryptic glyphs, and echoes of a civilization erased overnight. No survivors, no explanations, only silence. As they analyzed the data, a chilling pattern emerged. The glyphs matched hidden symbols buried in Noah's archives, warnings missed or erased. The archive's final messages were more than history. They were a cipher. A warning or a trap? Thess asked, unease in her voice. Varel prepared for a journey into the unknown. Whatever waited beyond would test their fragile alliance to its limits. Varel led a covert expedition into uncharted space. The crew faced shifting gravity wells and ghostly debris fields. Communication faltered. Tension mounted. Shadows seemed to flicker just beyond sight. "We're not alone," one engineer said, voice trembling. Every step deeper unearthed signs of a vanished civilization and an unknown technology far beyond human or alien design. The expedition's AI picked up a pulse, an encrypted, rhythmic heartbeat emanating from a massive, derelict structure. Varel ordered a cautious approach. This may be the key to understanding what wiped them out and what threatens us now. But danger was closing in. Silent ships tracked their course, waiting for the right moment to strike. Ambush struck without warning. Varel's fleet was surrounded by ships unlike any seen before, ethereal, cloaked in shifting shadows, firing weapons that warped reality. Traditional defenses faltered. Panic rippled through the ranks. "What are they?" Thess demanded. Noah's archive offered a grim hint. Fragments of forbidden lore spoke of the Veilborn, entities born from collapsed dimensions, consuming light and life. The ghosts of civilizations past, now awakened by the galaxy's unrest. Virel faced a desperate choice: fight a hopeless battle or retreat to warn all that a greater war had begun, one beyond political strife or legacy. The retreat was chaotic but necessary. Virel's fleet fled toward the nearest inhabited system, pursued relentlessly by the Ghost Armada. Systems failed, shields flickered. In the darkness, the crew clung to a single hope, activating the Harmony Matrix's latent defense protocols. The Matrix surged, linking minds in desperate unison. A wave of shared will pushed back the ghost ships, buying precious time. But the victory was tenuous. Exhaustion and fear clouded every mind. Virel knew this was only the beginning. He sent one final transmission. Alert all systems. Prepare for the war beyond wars. The shadows have awakened. Back at the neutral zone, alarms blared. Virel's warning rippled through the galaxy. The Council scrambled to respond. Old rivals united by an existential threat. Delegates argued, plans were drawn, and alliances reforged in haste. "The Veilborn are beyond our wars," Virel declared. "Survival demands we act as one." But trust was fragile. Saboteurs and skeptics lurked, unwilling to believe in a foe they couldn't see. Still, preparations began for fleets armed with experimental tech, scientists racing to understand the ghost ship's powers. A new chapter of war was opening, one where old legacy mattered less than unity and innovation. Scientists uncovered a buried transmission from a human beacon, centuries old, pulsing from the heart of the Veilborn's origin. It was a message of peace, or a warning too late to heed. Virel studied the coordinates, realizing this was a last human attempt to seal a dimensional rift. Could this be their salvation, or doom? The expedition prepared for a desperate journey into the rift's heart, hoping to find answers, or a way to stop the Veilborn before they consumed all. The stakes had never been higher. Failure meant extinction. Success was barely a hope. The team entered the rift's edge, a swirling storm of energy and warped time. Reality bent around them, memories flickering and distorting. Virel's crew struggled to maintain focus, and the Matrix's link strained under the pressure. Ghostly apparitions whispered warnings and riddles. At the rift's core, an ancient device pulsed. The Seed of Harmony, a relic meant to stabilize realities, glowed faintly, but activating it risked collapse or salvation. Virel faced a choice: gamble everything on a relic built by a fallen species, or retreat and face annihilation. He reached out knowing the future hung on this moment. The device surged to life, energy cascading through the rift. The Veilborn fleet faltered, caught in a shifting dimension, but the rift's instability grew. Stars trembled and space itself began to unravel. Virel's mind flooded with visions. Possible futures, some bright, others apocalyptic. The crew worked frantically, balancing the device's power while the galaxy watched, breaths held. Time stretched thin. One misstep could erase everything. Then, with a brilliant pulse, the rift stabilized. The Veilborn receded into darkness, trapped between dimensions. Silence fell across the galaxy. Ships lowered weapons. Survivors wept and hoped. Virel's voice broadcast across every channel. "We survived because we chose unity over division. Our future is ours to write. Scarred, yes, but stronger." Noah's AI whispered one last time. "From ashes and shadows, life finds a way." The archive ship drifted onward, its mission complete, leaving behind a galaxy forever changed. As stars shimmered with new light, Virel looked forward. The human story was finished, but the legacy had just begun. The end. Thank you for watching AstroMyths. If you enjoyed this story, smash that like button and subscribe for more epic sci-fi tales, cosmic mysteries, and mind-bending myths. And if you like this story, or have a myth, mystery, or galaxy you'd like us to explore, drop your ideas in the comments. We're always listening. Until next time, keep your eyes on the stars and your mind open to the unknown.